Welcome to Gardening with Ben, the podcast where we dig into the soil of our gardens and the depths of our green thumbs. I'm your host Ben, here to guide you through the joys of gardening from sowing seeds to reaping bountiful harvests. Each episode will explore tips, tricks and tales from the garden and allotment, sharing insights from ourselves and stories from our own back garden adventures. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just getting your hands dirty for the first time, there's something here for everyone. So grab your brew and gardening gloves and let's get growing with Gardening with Ben. Hello and welcome back to a brand new podcast today. And like I said, it's the beginning of March. If you've not checked out my yesterday's episode talking about everything that we did in February, make sure you go and check that out before listening to this one. So today's podcast, we're going to be talking about what jobs need doing in the garden throughout the month of March, and there's a lot of stuff what will need doing as we're getting into the growing season. And in the next episode we'll be talking about all the things that we can start to plant in March. So this one's a good starter before tomorrow's episode. And usually with these episodes, what I tell people to do is get themselves a little notepad so that they can make notes of all the jobs what need doing, and then tick them off as they've got them completed, and then you know you've got the main jobs done and you can concentrate on all the other little things around the allotment and garden that do need doing. So what stuff will we need to do this month? So we'll start off, usually we start off with the stuff what needs doing in the vegetable garden first. So the things what need doing this month are not very much in the vegetable garden, as there's not much growing outside. There's only a few little jobs which need doing. So if you're growing asparagus, what you need to do is prepare your beds this month by making sure they are weed free and add mulch around the asparagus plants. This will give them the boost that they need and warm them up ready to grow really well this year. If you've grown green manure in your allotment, make sure you dig this into the soil this month so that it all starts to break down and feeds the soil. Vegetable beds, make sure they're all weed free and ready for planting for the months ahead. So that is basically everything what needs doing in the vegetable garden. There's not much, like I said, to do in the vegetable garden this month. It will get bigger as the months go ahead. So make sure you get all them jobs done, and let's see what needs doing in the fruit garden. So in the fruit garden this month, what we'll need to do is you need to feed your blueberries with ericaceous plant fertilizer. This will give them the kickstart that they need to start growing for the month ahead. So if you've not got any ericaceous plant fertilizer, make sure you order some and get some on your blueberries ready for this year. Fruit trees, make sure they've all been mulched this year. Raspberries, make sure the tips of the summer fruiting raspberries have had the tops cut off. This encourages them to bush out and produce a lot more fruit on the plant. Rhubarb, if you've got rhubarb growing, I know I've certainly done this and it's speeding along. Mulch your rhubarb this month, but do not cover the crowns though, as this can cause them to rot. Strawberries, if you want to grow an early crop of strawberries, cover them with a cloche. So yeah, that's it for your strawberries. I can't wait for my strawberries to grow. I've got so many growing. Stone fruits, if you're growing nectarines, apricots and peaches, cover the trees with a fleece to protect them from protect the blossom from the frost, as there's still frost around. So just be careful and look after those stone fruit trees. So that's everything what needs doing in the fruit garden. Again, not too many jobs, you can easily tick them off and get them all sorted for this year. So what needs doing in the flower garden? So this month, what you need to do is, if you've got clematis, prune these back before the new growth starts on them. Daffodils, as daffodils die back, these can be deheaded, but do not cut them back to the base, as all the nutrients go back to the bulb. Heathers, any heathers that are dying back, give them a prune back ready for the next year. My heather's still out in bloom, so I'm definitely not pruning that back at the moment. It's looking absolutely glorious at the moment. I'm sure you'll have seen it from some of my videos. Hydrangeas. You can now start to prune these back and cut off any of the old flowers from them. Take them back to about 1/3 of the years of last year's growth on them, and they will be ready to start growing this year. Fuchsias. Prune these back around to about 2 buds on each stem. That will get them started ready for the year ahead. Pansies. Make sure you keep deheading them as the winter pansies die back. This will encourage more flowers to keep growing on your pansies and get more flowers growing throughout the springtime until they are ready to die off. Perennials. Cut back any old foliage that may be dying back on them, ready for the fresh growth growing this year. Roses. These can still be pruned back this month, so if you've got roses growing, give them a prune, tidy them up, and get them ready for growing the year ahead. Slugs, the dreaded slug word. As slugs start to appear in the garden, make sure you have beer traps set up ready to catch them, as they'll all start coming up out of hibernation now. So get ready for the slugs coming back out to your gardens. So that is all the jobs which need doing in the vegetable garden, fruit garden and flower garden. Like I said, there's not an awful lot of things that need doing still this month in the garden, as there's not much growing around at the moment. Next month, as we start to get further on, there will be a lot more work that needs doing. So get all these little jobs out of the way, ready for the big jobs coming up in the months ahead. And make sure you come in for tomorrow's episode, because we're going to be talking about all the seeds that we can start to plant this month, and there's a lot appearing on the list, so it's exciting times. We can start to get all them seeds sown and get them growing in the garden. So yeah, I hope that you enjoy this episode. If you're not following me, make sure you do give me a follow on here, so then you can get the next episode when it comes up. And yeah, feel free to leave a review or a question as well, and I will see them. So until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep shining, and keep gardening with Ben, everyone. And that wraps up another episode of Gardening with Ben. Thank you for joining me in this journey. Remember, every seed planted is a step towards a greener world, and every day is a chance to grow something beautiful. Keep nurturing your gardens and your souls. Until next time, I'm Gardening with Ben, reminding you to let your garden be your sanctuary. Happy gardening, and see you in the next episode. Remember, keep smiling, keep shining, and keep gardening with Ben.